Like, what this whole thing?
Oh,
Hey, tell him.
It's back.
Tell him, Natalia.
And we're here.
That's our start. She's like, what?
That's
Welcome home, everybody. This is the Residency Podcast with myself, Jeff Tomastic, Drew Belcher, and Lo Raven here.
We're live.
We are live. We are super excited to be back. This is the one thing that's keeping my world going around.
That's the only thing I had planned for the entire week and all of next week, honestly.
This is it. We now just send each other calendar invites just to do it, just to say that we have something on there.
It's nice.
But seeing how everything is completely flipped on its head at this point now too, we're going to kind of transition this episode and future episodes to kind of show you guys behind the curtains of some business owners, how they're handling this crisis. Hopefully we can provide some insight to other small business owners that listen to us, because you know there's a lot of them out there, as well as kind of shine a light on how serious the impact has had on tons of different industries. I think it's really important too. Obviously, we all have been impacted. Everyone's been impacted in different ways. We want to kind of share some stories on how people are dealing with it and how they can kind of push forward, get creative. So we have a good friend of ours here today, Natalia Badzjo. Welcome. So she owns a restaurant called Bs BBQ, a local staple here in Las Vegas with 2 locations with her husband, Brian. Shout out, Brian. We miss you.
Shout out, Brian.
Shout out,
and
Brian.
also my favorite barbecue restaurant in town.
Yeah, and this was one of somebody's binge.
This is mine.
It was Jeff's.
I eat it last week. She's also the director of customer development for the Wynn and Encore Resort for nightlife. So anyone who's ever been to Excess has probably run into her before. She controls your livelihood there. But look, this has become part of, I think, the Vegas economics, and we wanted to really kind of check with you and see how things are going. Really quickly, we want to tell us a little bit about Bs BBQ in general, kind of how this all started. Why did you want to get in the restaurant industry?
I know, right? Bs BBQ opened almost 5 years now. The first one, my husband Brian, he's from Texas, and he's always been very, very passionate about cooking, specifically barbecue. So 5 years ago, we decided to just go for it and kind of got our savings together, took a small business loan, and opened the restaurant. And a few years later, hard work, a lot of hard work goes into restaurant business, as most of you guys know. But it became very successful, and it's still, I still consider it. But with this current development, of course, ourselves, just like other businesses, are definitely struggling. So not just restaurant industry, but anybody in any sort of industry that has anything to do with hospitality has taken a huge hit.
For sure. Where's the first location at?
First location is in Henderson, St. Rose and Eastern, kind of right by the hospital.
Okay.
And the second one is also by the hospital in Fort Apache and Sunset.
Nice.
Second one just opened about 3-4 months ago.
Got it.
So
Ideal timing.
yeah.
Yeah, right on time.
Ideal timing.
Yeah.
So why? Obviously, your last name does not yield to Texas lineage too. So when you and Brian came up with the barbecue idea too, like you were super into it as much as Brian was, like how did this all really start? Because it seems like it just is a perfect fit.
Yeah, it is. Like we have, when you own the business with your significant other, you have to be very careful, because it's always
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Hard. So I think we have a very clear separation of powers. That's
good.
very important. There are certain things that he's responsible for 100%, and I can have an input, but his word will be the last word. And there are certain things that I'm responsible for, and my word would be the last word. And, like anything has to do with kitchen, cooking, food, that will be all Brian. Anything has to do with business side or marketing or finances will be completely my side.
That's awesome.
And we very clearly keep that separate. So
Church and state. Separation of church and state.
to.
Yeah, for sure.
And it works really well, because while I can have some input with some new dishes or cooking, Brian is the professional on that side, and same thing with my side. I'm a lot more knowledgeable about marketing and finances and anything that has to do with that. So while we keep that very separate, it works as very well as a cohesive unit. So it worked out really well for us.
Definitely. I think that's a great note for just anybody listening, right? Like knowing specific roles is very important, especially if there's a relationship at stake. Yeah. Like personal, friendship, anything, just knowing the roles and kind of sticking to them.
Yeah,
playing your strengths.
Separating it. It has to be very clear. And that's why, like I said, anything when you involve family or close friend, there's always going to be, when the money involved, there's always going to be argument and disagreements. So as long as, you need to separate very clearly who's responsible for what and stay true to that.
But you win most of the arguments, right? You're saying.
Of course.
Of course.
I love that.
Obviously. But I hold on real quick. There one thing about Big Bs that I think is great, and every restaurant claims they're the best at whatever it is that they make and whatever it is they do. But there's one thing that you guys put so much effort into that separates you guys, and it's the wood.
You guys, it's a Texas style barbecue, so you need to. It's very important that you have like the right wood. It has to be mesquite wood, and you can't use the local mesquite because it's a desert hybrid, so it doesn't work the same way. It's like very pungent, so to say. It has too much bark and sap. The real mesquite from Texas, it grows in a very, very humid environment, so it's a completely different kind of wood. So we drive there every few months and bring back up.
Oh, that's rad.
So crazy,
huge
right?
Load of wood.
So not Mesquite, Nevada, Mesquite, Texas.
Yeah.
Right.
What are the other characteristics of a true Texas style barbecue? Because I didn't know. And initially meeting you, I kind of got a little education tutorial on what is real Texas barbecue and the differences between the different, I guess, subsections of the United States of their styles of barbecue.
It's a belt buckle.
Barbecue is kind of a very strange subject to discuss in mixed company, just because everybody will have a different opinion on what good barbecue is, depending on where they grew up and what they're used to. Texas style barbecue, considered purist barbecue, so to say. What I mean by that is you don't brine the meats, you don't inject it with anything, you don't pre-sauce. The meat has to shine. So it's just dry rub with usually just salt and pepper, and then every pitmaster will mix in some kind of their own special spice, like paprika or onion. And it's just dry rub, and then you smoke it on really low temperatures for a really long time. Like brisket would take 12 to 14 hours, depending on the size of it. And you don't cover it with any sauce. The sauce is always on the side. It's basically, the meat has to shine on its own. The main star in Texas barbecue will always be brisket. Although we do, chicken, we do pork, we do hot links, but the brisket is always the star, so to say. It is.
I'm getting starving.
Dude, my mouth is watering.
Yeah, starving right now.
Low loves getting his meat smoked.
Yeah.
I'm 100%.
And the brisket is also, it's the hardest meat to perfect. It's a very weird piece of meat. It's really big. It's about 12 to 14 pound piece of meat.
Yeah.
And it's really fatty on one side. It's really lean on the other side. It's really thick on one side, really thin on the other side. And the grain runs in the opposite direction. So in order for the brisket to be, not overdone, but done just enough, and has to be moist, not over dry. It's just like it's very intricate piece of meat that you basically. It took us a while.
How long did it take you to understand all this stuff about Texas barbecue and meat? This is like incredible knowledge.
I think making it in mass quantities too, right? Is like, because I knew Brian, I had his cooking before Big B's ever opened and barbecue style. But I think making it over and over and perfect each time in that quantities takes a whole new element of skill set when you're building everything out.
Yeah, and then a lot of people don't understand when you own a restaurant, like let's say you cook for yourself, you need to make pot roast or whatever.
Right.
You're gonna eat at 6 p.m. You're gonna make that, time it perfectly so it's right at 6 p.m. It's ready to go.
For a family of 4, and exactly what you're good.
Yeah.
When you own a restaurant, you need to make sure that you have enough. You have that pot roast or brisket or whatever ready at 11, 12, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6.
I never thought of that.
And it has to be perfect every time.
Every time.
And you can't cook too much or you're going to waste it. And the margins in the restaurant are very slim. Or can't cook too little because then you won't have enough to serve.
People are upset.
Demand, for sure, yeah.
So it's very like the fine line of having just enough and not too much, and having it perfect from 11 to your closing time. It's a very it's a dance.
I guess that's really different too with barbecue. With the cook times are so much longer than other items, right?
Yeah, you're not whipping something up in 10 minutes.
You can't just whip up another brisket,
Yeah.
Give 14 hours. That'll be 14 hours, sir.
Just come back.
And then
tomorrow.
they go straight to Yelp and roast your ass. Motherfuckers,
I know.
dude.
The funniest, most of the restaurant owners, of course, they hate on Yelp. And
I hate Yelp.
The thing is, like, there's good things and bad things coming from Yelp. A lot of bad things is a lot of people that just have no knowledge of what you do or how it's done, and they write you something that's completely just stupid. There's one lady that wrote in all caps, "Beware, meat not cooked to order. They pre-cook it and then they just carve it to you." And then my answer was perfect. I'm like, No problem, ma'am. I'll be happy to cook you brisket you order. Please bring an overnight bag because it's going to take about 14 hours.
Love that.
Throwing the sauce at him.
Good. You should.
I think
I love it.
Yelp is funny too. I always hated Yelp because most likely when you go into a restaurant, you assume it's going to be good because you walked in there, you're going to spend your money. So something brought you there.
And you saw all the pictures.
Friend, a picture, whatever. You're like, okay, cool. You're
4.5 stars.
You don't walk into a restaurant and get ready to order something assuming it's going to suck.
No.
So you already go in there and if it's good, it met your expectations, you walk out. But so like the amount of good experiences people have in restaurants, they don't Yelp, but just the awkward, weird few. So there's a lot of people like that are just like a voyeur who look at Yelp but never participate. That's what Yelp is. It's a bunch of voyeurs
For sure.
who read and react but don't ever
The
participate.
shadow lurkers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like-
I like them better than the actual participants.
Yeah, but they just
people-
judge it and then
Yeah.
they don't put it in if something's good. So I just thought that was flawed.
Yeah, most of the people that have good experience won't take the time to go online
Yeah,
and write about
totally.
it because, like,
Yeah.
hey, it was great food.
Yeah, they're
like,
already
you know,
expecting it.
But 90% of people of those, like, 1 in a freaking 100 that had some kind of bad
Those are your
experience,
Yelp
they
elite
will
guys.
absolutely go and like take their time, and they won't tell you because we check on every customer in the restaurant, and we check and make sure they will not tell you.
They don't want
like,
confrontation.
nope, everything is fine.
Yeah, of
they
course.
will just go behind there.
Yeah.
Thumb
Report.
gangsters.
Till they
And then
walk out that
get
door.
started. And you know, we've been fortunate. We have actually pretty good star rating. We have 4.5 at both restaurants. But
Bazinga.
still,
Yeah.
at one.
Flex.
Which is also perfect, by the way, because there's no such thing as a 5-star. So
Yeah.
it's very possible.
So we have a perfect Yelp rating over here. It's just,
Yeah.
you know.
But but it's still like kind of bugs you because you take it personal. You know, when it's something that you have a lot of passion for, and you spend
Yeah. It's your
hours
livelihood.
and hours making it, and then one asshole writes something that's completely
Ridiculous.
We've all dealt with it.
Yeah, based on his
100%.
experience. And
Yeah.
the thing is everyone's going to have a different experience.
Yeah.
You know, I may go in and had a shitty day prior to going in and eating at a restaurant, and now I can't find a parking space, or I go in and I see a straw wrapper on the ground. It's like, oh, fuck this place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And I
out.
go on Yelp and I write a 5-paragraph review
Yeah.
of my experience. The thing is Jeff's experience is going to be completely different.
Yeah.
Jeff may have had a fucking awesome day at work, just got laid by his wife,
Yeah.
made
Everything.
some money, goes in, has a mediocre meal, but it's fantastic.
Sounds
Because
like a
Jeff's
great
in
day.
Yeah.
fantastic
Sounds
day.
like a day I need
Everyone's
again.
experience is going to be completely different.
Some are pretty funny too. Like when I used to own business and like or the restaurant, someone like we had to Yelp people and be like, the fish is all raw here. It's just I hate raw fish. It's 1 star.
They got to cook that
It's
poke.
a poke
It's
place.
a sushi restaurant. Just FYI, it's a raw
Yeah.
food restaurant.
Yeah.
and you just 1 star. They didn't cook my fish. Okay,
Yeah, and also being involved in food and beverage concepts, Jeff,
Yeah.
Natalia, myself, Lowe's getting into it.
yeah,
Yep, something.
Everyone thinks you're like fucking rich.
Yeah.
yeah.
That is the furthest
Doesn't
from
the food
the
cost
actual
this
truth.
much when it really costs?
Just because it opened.
Oh, operation? Overhead?
Furthest from the truth.
But actually, speaking of that though, too, because I want to talk about some positives too, because Big B's has been open for a while. You did the first location, like you said too, figuring out when to make things, how to make things, how to cater to the customers, what your customer base is going to look like from a day to day to day basis, month to month to month. There were some big successes. Obviously, you opened up a second one, so the first one definitely was incredible too. So, how was the business doing before all of this too? Because I want to go over like some of the positives because I think it became a great business and was a great product. People loved it.
Yeah, or was there a moment where it like changed, right? Like we're
clicked, fully clicked.
click, like, oh my God, the revenue
think-
doubled now or whatever it is.
I think we didn't do a lot of marketing. I think word of mouth what kind of floated us fast than anything else.
Yeah.
I think Unlocked helped us a lot. I think just social media.
shout out.
period.
Plug,
No, it
plug,
was.
plug.
It
Full,
was.
full disclosure, Natalia and Big
disclosure.
B's are
Yeah.
clients of Unlock the agency aspect. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there, I'm not making anything up. We signed up with. We actually met Drew. I think when you did the event at downtown, and
Yep.
yeah, and then we kind of decided to. I did social media before that myself, and honestly, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work
Yeah.
because you need
Tell
to,
them, Natalia. Tell
Yeah,
them.
it
Preach.
is.
It's true.
It is more work than you expected if you want it to be done right.
Yeah.
I did it myself for about a year, and I mean, I was doing okay, but I have my full-time job, I have a restaurant to run, I have a lot of stuff, and social media kind of goes in the back burner, and people don't realize that social media right now is the main marketing aspect.
100%.
If you asked me 10 years ago, radio spots would be the main aspect, or print advertising, whatever, maybe more than 10 years ago, because that's
No, it still was, I
But-
think.
Yeah.
but
Definitely
now,
print.
do I pick up a newspaper to read what I'm going to eat tonight?
No chance.
Definitely not.
No
So,
chance.
Yeah. So although some of those aspects still are helpful, like on the strip when people like have the magazines in their room, when somebody that's off the strip in the local area, the only way people find you is social media. So it is important for other, not just restaurants, but all other businesses to kind of lay stronger on their social media game. I don't know what the next step will be. Social media is now, but 10 years from now, we may speak like this about social media.
Right.
Yeah, it transitions, right? The shifts in
Yeah.
attention are always changing. And
Yeah.
currently,
Yeah, of course.
this device has everyone's attention, and the platforms that live on this device is where everyone's consuming all of the content. To where, like
Yeah.
you said, 10 years ago, it was radio ads or print magazine, looking in a magazine and reading. But now, if you go into perfect example, I used to work at Excess with Natalia. Before I would go to work 6 years ago, I would go to Teriyaki Madness, get a little teriyaki bowl, eat it, sit and eat. And I would sit, grab a Las Vegas Weekly or a Vegas 7
Exactly,
and
yeah.
flip through the magazine and eat my bowl. But now if you go in, no one's flipping through a magazine eating their bowl. They're all on their fucking phone on Instagram
100%.
Cruising
eating
through
their
it.
bowl.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And it's just a shift in attention. And now this platform currently has all the attention. And it may shift in 3-5 years.
Yeah.
It's just attention. Yeah.
But for a small business, that content creation is almost a full-time job, or it is a full-time job.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It is for sure.
It is, yeah. So I think like when we started doing more social media, plus the word of mouth grew. It's for barbecue. It's not a trend kind of food. It's a traditional kind of food. So no matter what trends come and go, the barbecue is so American that it's a very traditional sort
Very
of
true,
food. It's
yeah.
not going
That's a
away.
great point.
So regardless of when people find the barbecue they like, in Texas style barbecue, there wasn't one in town yet. And, we found our niche and I feel like that filled a lot of people's void. A lot of, barbecue is a hard thing to do in Vegas because there's no natural resource. There's no wood. So people have to, either use gas smokers or pellet smokers or whatever else. Texas style barbecue doesn't allow for that. So you can't cut any corners.
Got to make that drive, baby. Wait, who makes the drive to Texas, by the way? Both of you?
Generally, I fly, Brian drives,
That's amazing.
That's the best.
but I do drive back with him. So
I was running when the tasks were being separated.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this too. Driving there's you. I'm moving on.
It's every 6 months, right? Or every couple months?
with the one restaurant, it was every 5 to 6 months. With 2 restaurants, it's about 3 to 4 months now. But
making that trip a
but-
little more
Once a
often
quarter.
now.
It is.
Yeah,
Once
for
a
sure.
quarter.
But it's not that bad. It's like we Brian's family's from Texas, so we go see them. We go a little hunting
make a
or
little
fishing.
trip out of it, yeah.
Make a trip out of it, and we bring back about 10 cords of wood, and that's a lot. If you've never seen 10 cords of wood, it's a basically massive.
It's a whole tree.
Yeah.
It's a trailer load.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture later. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's more than a tree. Yes, it's quite a few trees. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 12 pallets full of
Oh,
wood.
damn.
And yeah, we have a semi-truck, not semi-truck, but a dually truck and then a giant trailer. So it fits quite
That's
a bit,
right.
But
That's awesome.
I like that. So the business really built and built and built and grew. And then when did you make the decision? Like, okay, cool. We're ready for the second location.
about a year ago, we started looking because a lot of people were driving to us all the way from like North Las Vegas and Summerlin. They're making that drive once a week. And then we talked about it for a while, and then we decided, okay, let's just do the second one and kind of cover most of the city. And
That's
we
great.
found a great spot. We still think it is great.
Amazing spot.
Yeah, it is.
Lucked out on that spot
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, with this thing happening right now, the first restaurant kind of has a really solid following already. It's been there for nearly 5 years. People come support it because
God, it's been that long already, huh?
And the second one is still really new, so it doesn't have that solid, loyal customer base the way we have at the first one. So we are. I hope we can
Power
Take-
through it.
power through it. It depends how long it's going to take. It's like if it's down for 2-3 weeks, we should be able to pull through. If it's down for 4 or 5 months, I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Just kind of have to base it.
Transitioning
Right.
to our next.
Yeah, that was like
topics.
that was the
Perfect
next
segue.
thing too. Is like, look, so we want to keep this as general as possible because we have listeners from Vegas, from all across the country too, who own businesses, all different types too. And we've gotten reached out to by a bunch of them. But so we want to show them kind of what you've been going through. And so can you kind of walk us through like the initial impact of this, and then how was what percentage of your business was takeout and delivery? Now seeing how it transferred to 100%, what that immediate impact has been like. How significant has it really been?
Well, anybody that ever owned a restaurant or any kind of business like that, you know that the margins are very slim.
Yeah.
You're lucky if you're making about 15-16% of your bottom line, and it's always more of a volume play. So basically your fixed expenses are almost the same. So when you have higher volume, you start making money. So when that volume is taken down by 50-60%, your margin is no longer there. So
sure,
that's the first thing to go. We're trying to control any controllable expense. Working with the core crew, I haven't officially fired or laid anybody off yet, but their hours has been cut. I'm giving priority to people with families and kids because they need to support their family. But again, it's not sustainable for long. The takeout is still there. People still come and pick stuff up. There's still delivery service. But, the core base of our restaurant is like large groups dining in. So while some restaurants are more set up to have a pickup or delivery, like a pizza store is more, it's a delivery kind of food, or like Chinese food is more
single
more
order type foods.
Barbecue isn't it? It's not known to be primarily a takeout sort of
it's
food.
family style, right?
Yes, it's a family style, and we still have customers coming and picking up. But like I said, with 50-60% decline, it's just not sustainable for long.
Yeah.
And we're trying to talk to both of our landlords and see if they can be understanding and kind of give us a little bit of leniency during this time. We'll see what the government comes up with to help small businesses like ours to pull through. But, it's going to be hard. And
For sure.
Vegas overall, it's the worst kind of city for this to happen in. We like giant cruise ship. We have, a new set of passengers coming on board every week.
Every week.
Yep.
And we don't make anything here. There's nothing that grows here. We don't produce anything here. It's all just service industry, hospitality industry. So when things like this happen, not 5% of your population goes without income, but a vast majority.
Quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's not just the strip that people losing their job. It's a restaurant like ours. It's service, nail salons. It's gyms. It's a lot of people that are in service industry in Vegas specifically will be a lot more affected than a lot of other cities. People may not understand that, but vast majority of our residents work in hospitality.
Yeah, unless that just as good of a deals as you can do and give, the disposable income starts to go down by 10%, 20%, 30%, where some people just can't afford to eat out no matter what the deal is that they're given to. So now that it's been shifting, so what percentage was like takeout and delivery versus obviously now it's 100%?
Yeah.
What was it before this?
Maybe 20%, but another 20% maybe was catering when all of those events canceled. So,
Oh wow, yeah, catering.
Yeah, gone.
So every single, wedding, every single large gathering, every single corporate catering, all of those things. And, you have to realize March, April, May are the busiest months for any restaurant. So not just for catering, but for restaurants in general. Yeah. So you're just coming off of a slower season, which your holidays and,
you're looking for that
going right into the busy season before summer it slows down again. So we're going to skip the entire massive influx of business that's supposed to be here March, April, May. And of course, that's catering too by large margin,
Yeah.
Do you see a shift maybe happening in the near future? Again, we don't know how long this is going to last, whether it's sustainable. Do you see other restaurants maybe downsizing these actual real estate locations and doing smaller locations to strictly cater to delivery and takeout only?
Yeah, if you can shift fast enough, you just, it depends whether it's going to last another 2 weeks or another 5 months, if it does, even though, catering, delivery and pickup is still a good business model if you are, like you said, a much smaller location.
Has to be.
Running a core crew and just basically cooking. So, it's quite possible. It's just like, we have certain obligations to landlords, so we can just like, hey, we're not gonna take the entire thing. We're just gonna take the kitchen.
Yeah. I just want this little piece of the
yeah.
space. Yeah, it doesn't really work like that.
Take this back.
Yeah, take it all back.
It's hard to shift so fast, you know. If this happens so fast, you know, if you told me a month ago casinos will be closed, I told you you're complete.
Yeah, you're new.
Within a couple of days, this happened.
We talked about it too. There is no business that just had this in their meeting.
Projections?
Like, all right, don't worry.
Chance.
Not even projections, but just they had a plan in place. Just in case something like this, the most ridiculous pandemic happens, here's what we're going to do. Step 1, 2, 3. Everyone's putting it together day by day, week by week, trying to figure out what I can do best to do it.
Nobody was prepared for this. This just came out of complete blue.
Also, do you think it's exaggerated?
I don't want to be insensitive, but I think it is a little bit. And I mean, I feel like we need to quarantine 6 people for sure.
Yeah.
Keep them away from the rest of population.
I mean, looking at the data and the numbers, I would agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to sound insensitive. I definitely don't want people to die, but like looking at the data, you know, so many more people died from previous pandemics just a few years ago, and we didn't shut down economy in the country for it. So I don't know whether it's because social media blew everything out of proportion, and media
Very easy to
people
spread.
sharing,
Yep.
Yeah.
and or I mean, it's a horrible situation no matter what. People are dying. People getting
It's the biggest lose-lose situation
like,
that
yeah.
there
It's
is.
literally a lose-lose situation.
There's no right answer, unfortunately. Well, I mean, you talked about social media too. So what are you doing now to talk to your customers differently? So, I mean, you were saying how important it was in social media. What are you doing now to tell them?
I mean, we just basically share in the world the same thing. We are still open for pickup and delivery. We offering, you know, Grubhub, Postmates, DoorDash delivery. We offering free delivery on group packages in 5-mile radius, which basically just gives my employees some extra
Something to
revenue.
do, yeah.
Something to do. You know, we're trying to keep them employed as long as we can. Right now, you know, you're operating at a negative. So no matter what, even though we are still selling some, as long as it can cover some expenses and mostly payroll, I'll keep going, you know, because, you know, they depend on me. They have no other source of income. Most of them don't have any savings. So if I shut down, they can feed their kids. Like, I feel responsible for them. They're my family. Most of them been there with us since we opened, which is
Wow, that's awesome.
Which is really
Great
cool.
retention.
And you know, for me to now, like, sorry guys, I'm just gonna close. Go fend for yourself. It's hard to do, you know.
Definitely.
And hopefully this doesn't last long. If in case we do have to shut down, I'll just give them whatever meat I have left, whatever food I have left over. At least that will be helpful. But again, we're just hoping this does last long.
Yeah, I think
sure.
that's key too. You know, again, I think we'll be okay, but it's those employees that are living paycheck to paycheck with families to support. If you close, they have nowhere to go, nothing to do.
Yeah, and it just contributes to the problem of the whole economy.
Yeah,
So
snowball effect.
Yeah,
is
so
just-
for you to stay open, knowing you're not making any money,
yeah.
but to stay open for the employees so that they can support and provide for their families, I think that's top notch, gold medal,
Absolutely.
and phenomenal.
Yeah.
Thanks.
For sure.
Yeah, we're trying.
For them and for you, right?
I mean, you could have easily folded up and just said,
Yeah.
you know what, we're going to take the next, unfortunately, 3 to 5 months kind of off. No delivery, no
I'd be happy.
pickups.
Yeah, we'll just pay
Sit
the
at
rent.
home, go
yeah.
hiking.
You're good. Again,
Yeah.
you're good, but it's the employees.
I think climbing back out of that, though, as a business and a brand, you know, for any reason, right, to take 3 months off for any reason, for any brand, you almost lose all of your momentum. You know, we realize how difficult it is to get and how easy it is to lose. And then getting it back is just, once people are being inundated by whatever else that they're consuming, if you just disappear, getting it back is totally different. So
Yeah, it is.
obviously
Yeah,
for
so
you as a brand, as a company, as an owner, it's important to do whatever you can to continue to remind people that I'm here, I'm doing what I can, I'm out there for the business, as albeit it's not romantic and not amazing and not, you know, you're not getting what you used to get out of it, but at least people are still knowing that in the turnaround, you're still at the forefront of their brain and the employees,
yeah.
obviously.
You know, it's harder to shut down and then reopen, because then just like there's so much work goes into opening a restaurant and doing it all over again. It's an undertaking. So
That brand building, you have to rebuild that brand.
You have to remind people.
It's you know, definitely better brand wise to stay open.
So what's one thing that you kind of already had in place that you're like, oh my God, thank God we at least had this going on first? Is it like, you know, the the loyal customer base? Is the delivery platforms already too? Was it just kind of the know-how of the restaurants, or what's one thing that you kind of already had going on that really helped you, at least so far, for these past 2 weeks, which seem like 9 months?
Well, I think, I think the loyal customer base that are used to eating our food, and they're just like, they call like, hey, you guys still open? And they all come in and like, thank you so much for being open. Like, we have nothing else to eat. The first week after we got shut down, I think last Wednesday, I mean, I considered just closing because everybody, first of all, bought up entire stores worth of, canned food.
Everything.
And ramen noodles.
Yeah.
Nothing against canned food ramen noodles. But I think by the
Classics.
end of that
Yeah.
by the end of that week, people like, day 4 ramen noodles. I can't do that
I can't
anymore.
eat that
Yeah, I'm
anymore.
over
It's
it.
real.
So they started venturing out and like, hey, you guys still open? I need some actual food. So I'm hoping that people won't be. We'll start getting bored of their home.
Their rations that they have at home.
They will, and we
The
talked
18
about
packs of pasta.
this.
Yeah.
We talked about this last episode. This is either everyone's going to have to transition and adapt, or it's going to come to an end. If it doesn't, and people have to transition and businesses have to transition, the people that spend the most time reaching out to that current customer base and letting them know they're still available and letting them know this and keeping up with that word on social media are the ones that are going to win currently, and the ones that will position themselves to win after this is all over.
I also think too is that like one thing, if you look back on as a restaurant or a brand, because this can be fluid to not just the restaurant industry, but I think you've done a great job at doing this too, is that you've been open for 4+ years, 5 years. You open a second location. How you treat customers over the long term, and you don't see it, you can't measure it exactly too until a situation comes like this too, because everyone has X amount of dollars, might be going through hardships, and they have the opportunity to go out and get things because they need them. And they have an opportunity, and I've been seeing a lot on social media, people choosing the word to support local restaurants. And that's making a choice that they're going there because they want the food, but because they've come to know and love either you or Brian, or maybe your waiter or waitress who works there, or someone behind the counter, or whoever it is too. That level of devotion to a brand or a restaurant or a company is what everyone dreams of, right? That's making a true customer where they'll go out of their way to support you. I think that's kind of shown a lot of brands who have and have not built that relationship over, whether it's 6 months or a year or 2 years or 5 years or 10 years. That connection now is, I think, the saving grace for a lot of people, right, too, because I think a lot of people are coming, there's not a lot of new customers that are happening right now, too.
Yeah.
Majority of people who are coming to Big B's, and I assume a lot of other restaurants,
Yeah.
are loyal customers.
Yep.
They just want to support us. They want
Yeah.
us to want to see us open.
But that's a massive achievement to have those people. We know that.
For sure. And it takes a while to build that loyal clientele base. So like we can't, lose them because it's going to take a while to build it back up.
For sure.
Yeah.
So how long do you think restaurants, like in general, can survive like this? I mean, going on, obviously you're seeing what it's like on the back end.
Yeah. I mean, it depends, like we were going to talk to our landlords and see what we can come up with. There are certain costs we can't control, like our labor. We can control our food costs because right now we're obviously cooking less than we would cook a normal week.
Yeah.
But there are other costs that are not controllable, like some of your utilities, your lease,
Those nice big spaces you got there,
yeah.
The first location
Those
is huge.
there's picnic tables in there take up a lot of space.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hopefully they want to see us succeed and get past this, but also depends on what aid government gives them. If landlord has a mortgage to pay and then he can't afford for us not to pay him lease, but if he gets some relief, he will be able to give us some kind of relief as well. So we definitely need to talk to those guys and see what we can do. But there are a lot of programs coming out now, and every day there's a different story. So like one day there's an SBA loan, which you can get a loan at 3.75%. Sounds good, but what doesn't sound good is going deeper in depth just to keep losing money because
Yep.
it's not really
Just
helpful.
bleeding money is not
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I think what you had said earlier too is, everyone has to figure it out, but the social media blew this up, and we know how serious it is now too. Whether there's a variance of how serious it really is or isn't, we don't all know that. But to catch everything up too with small business, they have to figure out ways for everyone to survive because it's a full circle, right? If a landlord holds you to your lease and you go out of business, that's not good for them. No. They would rather give you 90 days or 120 days, and so that you're still a customer then too. I think it's full circle, but then they need to know that they're going to be assisted as well because they're not getting any money. So it's kind of this crazy thing, and it's impacted everybody so much, so quick, so fast that they're still trying to plan what
I mean,
things
in one
should
of
do.
our areas, it's us, and there's a gym, and then there is a pool place. So obviously, none of us are able to operate right now. So if landlord kicks us all out, like he won't be able to refill those places in quite some time because right now there won't be new businesses opening up for quite.
No one's looking at new leases right now, except for Lowe.
Except for Lowe,
Yeah,
for whatever reason. Yeah.
Touring new spaces right now.
I'm really and our other shopping mall, it's all restaurants and one gym too, which they're all in the same boat. So so.
That's one positive right now too. Is usually when you're talking to lenders or landlords and you're making up a story, they look at you like, "Hey pal, figure it out. Pay the rent. See you on the first." Now everyone knows everyone's in the same boat, at least.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to stick together here to make it through it, and just hope landlord is reasonable.
Yeah, if you could give advice to any other small business owners or restaurant owners, what would it necessarily be right now?
Depending what business you are, if you're ordered to close, then just close and cut your costs as much as you can. There are obviously some costs you can cut. If you're still able to operate, try to do it with the core crew and literally look at every single expense that you have and see if it's absolutely necessary. Like I cut down my trash pickup from 7 days to 2 days. That's a huge chunk of money right there. Of course, every single expense that may look like it's not much, at the end of the month, if it doesn't put you under,
it all adds up.
It all adds up.
Yeah.
Every little thing that
people are really looking at things that they needed.
Oh yeah, wants and needs.
Wants and needs are really different now, and those are being exposed for sure.
Yeah, and it's hopefully it's a short term and we can bounce back in no time. But regardless, try to save money if you're trying to rebuild your business, and just don't burn through it because you'll need it when you go back up.
For sure.
For sure.
So how do you think, do you have an opinion on when you think this is going to end? I mean, if you're like us too, it's just like, this is gambling with zero odds at this point too.
I know. I mean, I just let's just all get sick and all get through it and get an immunity. It's just
right. Just I'll catch it, do it, get it over with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think they already had it in the beginning of this year. And I probably think I may have.
A lot of people were talking about it. They're like, we were super sick in January.
Cough, flu, now I know what it was too.
End of December, January, February, people were sick. But I'm one of those people that doesn't run to a doctor if I have a cold or flu. I drink some NyQuil, I go to bed, and I feel better in 2 days. So whether I had it or not, I'll never know.
Exactly.
But
that's the biggest thing about this whole coronavirus thing anyways, I think, is just the fear of the unknown. People that can't get a definitive answer freak out, right? If it's not a yes or no or this or that, if it's just kind of in this middle, probably, maybe, kind of, people are just like, oh my God, they lose their mind.
100%.
You're not testing anybody now unless you're really, really sick. So I think a lot more people have it than we know or think.
Yeah.
So the actual mortality rate is probably a lot lower just because
we
all
don't even know.
four of us could have it right now and I would know because we don't have symptoms. So and they don't test us.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest positive and the biggest negative. We were talking about that earlier, the virus too, is that people have symptoms, or people who don't have symptoms don't know if they have it and they're not going to test it. I think that's going to come hopefully very soon, or we'll figure this out how to test people. But let's say this all fixes itself or works itself out in 2 months, 3 months, whatever the time may be. What do you think it's really going to be like? We got people going to behave the same as they were? Do you think it's going to take a lot longer for people to get back to normal?
I think it depends where you're at. I think Vegas is going to take a little longer just because in order for people to be comfortable again, just going out and it depends also on how media portrays it. Like, hey, this was all blown out of proportion. Let's go back to normal. Or we can't have large gatherings for another 2 years because we don't want this to happen again. It all, we don't realize how much media controls our life, and I'm not the one to watch the news all day, every day, but I do watch news at least once a day. And I mean, also,
I feel like I look at the news every 3 minutes now.
Now, absolutely on my phone.
And literally.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. I need to ration myself sometimes.
Yeah. And it impacts your thought process for sure. Something that I thought was completely blown out of proportion a month ago, now it's not so much.
It doesn't even matter anymore, for sure.
Yeah, it changes your mind, the perspective of everything that you see. And, there's always a good way and a bad way to spin every story. You can look at the same exact news release and the way you portray it, you can make it positive and negative. And of course, the drama sells news. They have to make it as dramatic as
No,
possible.
you're saying that the news could manipulate a headline to get us to click it?
Oh, God.
Come on.
And the thing is, like, whenever newscaster tries to do that, because they
want the breaking story.
Breaking story.
Yeah, for sure.
They're gonna make it as dramatic as possible, and they can make a huge monster out of nothing. And I'm not saying it's nothing, but I think that this virus will bankrupt a lot more people than it will kill, and that's the sad part of it. And
Yeah, there's two totally
Absolutely.
different things that are happening in our country right now too. One's health-wise and one's economic, that are two totally different problems, trying to solve both of them at the same time. And obviously, have you been to the Strip yet, by the way? Have you driven down it or anything?
no, I was thinking to do it
It's
this
super
weekend.
eerie.
Yeah, I want to go.
It's super eerie. Melissa and I did it one night, and it's just bizarre. Like, it's just something that you could never really. It seems like
I'll do it this
it's like
weekend.
CGI at a movie or something, because it could never possibly be that empty. Lights are off. No one's driving. No one's walking. It doesn't seem even real. And obviously, working on this trip, we've all worked on this trip.
Yeah.
Some more recent than the other. You still there? It's insane to see it. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Almost, it kind of is bizarre. You should do it.
Strip didn't shut down for 9/11. Nothing. Strip was never shut down. like
Yeah.
that.
It's crazy.
From like a nightlife perspective, when do you think Vegas will bounce back, or how do you think that will be?
I'm hoping by May, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody's hoping.
Yeah. Just,
Memorial Day.
hey, you know what? Put it out there. Positivity, right? We can hope. I mean, seriously, like it already seems like it's been shut down for.
I mean, Nevada seems to control it really well. We have, I think, 4 deaths in Nevada.
Yeah.
Which in the last month, more people died from, car crashes
Everything else,
in
yeah.
Nevada.
Exactly.
From this. So we didn't ban cars yet, to my knowledge. But
That's crazy.
Not yet.
So I think,
Never
but I
know.
think like Vegas, like your business,
I'm
like
not
Big
making fun of it
Bs.
because I know it could be serious.
Yeah.
And it's more of an overwhelming our medical system than it is killing people. Completely
Yeah.
understand. But I think we need to.
Unfortunately, I think locally we're doing a great job, but the Strip relies on tourists.
For sure.
So the rest of the country has to get shit right. Locally, like we're doing, as best as, not great, right? As good as a state can do. We're obviously in the upper percentile from, letting cases not get out of control, social distancing, all these things
Nevada's
too.
doing really well. Everybody's staying home. Everybody's staying away. I mean, there are some exceptions,
Of course.
but for the most part,
Doing well.
Nevada is doing really well.
But the Strip, we rely on the rest of the country and the rest of the world to get it together for the Strip to ever come back to reality.
yeah,
So hopefully that happens sooner
comes
rather
back
than later.
this whole cruise ship thing. We're gonna have a new set of 100,000 people every single weekend. A new set of tourists and coming from all over the world. So when will they feel comfortable?
For sure.
We got to make
It's
sure
the
none of them
perception.
have corona.
It's the perception for sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's obviously you've been doing whatever you can so far too. So we applaud you for that. 100%.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I mean, you just there are certain things we can control. So if like first few days, of course I'm stressing out and being
For sure.
like I'm used to having control of most of the things in my life, and in this situation you just don't. You know,
Absolutely.
and you at some point you have to kind of let go and like I can't control it. Just wake up every day and deal with the situation the best I can, and that's kind of.
I think that's a good point, right? Because a lot of people like to have that knowledge of this is what my normal day is going to be like. Nobody knows anything about like
just gotta
this
roll
and
with
what's
the
going
punches.
on. It's a first for a lot of people.
Every time I open my eyes in the morning too, I'm just like, oh God. Like grab my phone.
Yeah.
It's a dream.
They start clicking everything too. It's like, it's still going. Still going. Well, look, we obviously we're all super supportive of everything that you do too. Hopefully everyone who's listening right now too is can go out and check everything that you do too. Guys, it's called Big Bs BBQ. 2 locations here in Las Vegas, and to all the other restaurant and business owners too. We hope you guys some good advice out of this. We do a segment, and we're going to put you on the spot every week. It's called Eat It, Drink It, Binge It. So you have a little bit of time to think.
Dun.
Yeah.
So Big B's was
Big B's, it was one of my Eat It's last week too, where we just kind of recommend for Eat It, we just recommend something to eat. Obviously, we're recommending more things right now too that are either a product you can buy or a restaurant that has takeout, something you can drink. Obviously, we'll see what you're drinking right now too during your quarantine, and
Sure.
and something you're binging, right? Obviously, everyone right now too, their binge is on an all-time high, through the roof. Binging is.
What are you watching?
At
What
least
are you
one a
reading?
day.
What are you doing? Yeah.
What are you consuming? So we can kind of go from here. We'll let you go last, so you can get a little time to think here. Eat it. What's your Eat It, Lo? Hit me with it.
So on Fridays, I can't eat meat So this Friday, which is tomorrow,
My
I'll be
family's the same.
same thing. Yeah. So Friday I don't eat meat, so I'll be eating poke.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go to Island Sushi on Eastern and get me some poke. They have a really good poke bar over there.
Big fire.
Yeah.
Huge fan of poke.
Okay. There you go. I like that. What do you got right now, Drew? What are you eating?
All right, eat it. It's not a local spot. It should be, but I'm going to tell you guys right now, I make the best burgers.
Oh, I saw this.
Okay. Walk them through it.
I make the best burgers.
Walk
So
'em
you
through
have
it.
to have either a cast iron or a flat top griddle.
Okay.
The key is in the meat. I do an 80-20 blend. It's a brisket, short rib, and chuck ground beef blend. You can get it from your local butcher. Smash those patties out on that hot griddle. Get a nice potato bun, butter it, light toast. You can either do an all-American burger, which I like, which is like a more of a McDonald's style burger, or what I call the Coast Classic, which is similar to like
menu at your
or
house.
like an In-N-Out style burger with the spread and the tomato and all that shit, the grilled onions.
Okay.
I did the little McDonald's ones last night with the patties, pickles, onions, ketchup, mustard. Fire.
But
Look.
I saw what you did. You made the patties like paper thin.
Oh yeah, you got to smash them down,
Yeah,
paper
smash 'em
thin,
down, yeah.
paper thin. Get that nice char on both sides. Those crispies, those cragglies. It's the best burger ever.
Look,
I just
as
spell
a,
Cragglies.
as
It's not a real word.
as of right now, everyone should be going full effort into their cooking too.
No, yeah. If you ever
I've gone
wanted to
full-
cook some shit, now's
Yeah,
the time.
this is
And I don't
creative.
cook
I'm
and
not
or
full
can't cook.
blown. I'm all in.
This is how you know you're not going out to eat a lot too. Is Drew's just fully making burgers at home.
Cooking, yeah.
Okay, I like that, guys. We'll slow that down so you guys can hear the instructions.
Yeah.
for your burger.
Crispy
do a little
Cragglies,
tutorial.
guys. Crispy Cragglies.
So my eat it too is that I love cereal, and I feel like after these past 2 weeks, I'm really starting to the body's starting to struggle. Full
binge.
The workouts have gone to this really shitty 15 minutes in the garage that just really is absolutely nothing. But I love this brand called Cereal School, and they have a new flavor, peanut butter. So it's like a little bit healthier of a cereal. And it's super good. They come in like single serving packets. But the brand's called Cereal School. They have tons of different flavors. And randomly, I heard the owner on a podcast, and I actually reached out to her just to ask her a few questions. And she actually responded. And it's a massive company now too, and super cool. She was really, really nice. So that makes me even love the company even more because I emailed her directly. Somehow they put her email on the podcast, which was unbelievable. And
Slid up in it real
yeah,
quick.
and I actually emailed her, and she literally responded. I just told her I was a fan, and I asked her quick questions about what her answers about the podcast, about owning a business, and some of the agencies she's used in the past. And she was super cool, responded, even amidst all this craziness. So big fan of the brand now, even more than I really was. Peanut butter is my favorite flavor, but it's called Cereal School. Check it out. That's really, really good. Natalia, besides Big Bs, obviously, what are you eating right now?
Well, honestly, the first few days, like I was so overwhelmed and stressed, probably didn't eat much at all. Like,
Yeah, fair enough.
But now, I don't cook still, so Brian cooks for me. He's
That's
the best
nice.
cook, though. He made some spaghetti and meatballs one day. He made some really great steaks the other day. I mean, he's the cook in the family, so I can't.
So listeners, get yourself a husband who can cook is really
Oh,
Find
you a dude
it's
that
really
can cook.
Natalia's
That's
answer.
her eat for sure.
Not
Find a
me.
dude who can cook.
Low for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, it's not like I don't know how to cook. I technically do, but I never really enjoyed it. Husband, Brian, on the other way, completely loved cooking
Right.
since the day we met. So when we just since the day we met, it's like, I'll do the cooking. Like, cool.
Sold. Sign here.
Done.
Sign here really quick. Yeah. There's a 10-year commitment. Any
I
other?
mean, he enjoys it. I don't really,
Good.
but
I love that. Any other small restaurants that you're going out to that you're a big fan that are doing delivery or takeout right now too that you're
yeah. I mean,
plan on showing love
Jenga
to?
next to us that we love those guys. They're awesome, and they're in the same boat we are, and they love our food and we love their food. So we come eat at their place. They come eat at ours, and we support each other. Not just through this time, but we always supported each
That's
other.
awesome.
They're our neighbors, and we love sushi. They like barbecue, so we kind of
It's nice barter system.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
tired of barbecue? Go grab some
hold on,
sushi.
that's where we are in 2020. By the way, it's about to be barter system. You know what I mean?
everything.
So
for sure. And,
currency, brisket's gonna be the new currency.
yeah, Jenga. They have some great food there. Amazing.
Awesome.
Okay, I like that. All right, Lo, what are you drinking?
So my little pick me up I've been doing now is coffee from like the Keurig, but I'm mixing in protein. So it's like a morning protein shake,
Okay.
but also giving my coffee pickup. And with the one thing I love about it, I don't really like, if there's nothing to do, you take naps and stuff. I don't want to take a nap during all this, right? I just want to get through it and go to bed at the right time. So this little pick me up's keeping me up during the whole day. So it's great.
So that's extra protein for your lackluster workouts that you have too.
Hey, I've been like running. I've been working out.
Okay,
It's been
I like
good.
that.
That's
I
not
like
too
your
bad.
style.
I got to get it going.
All right, Drew, what are you drinking?
It is full on
All the alcohol.
Recession mode, like we talked about, it's all the alcohol I'm drinking every single night.
Yeah. I respect
They
that.
close all the liquor stores. I did stock up though, but lately I've been drinking a bottle of wine in entirety to myself.
Yes.
So I got to get the cheap shit. The best $7.99 bottle of wine.
Wow.
Apothic Red.
Apothic Red is not bad.
Yeah,
Really?
that's
I like
low.
Apothic
Yeah,
Red.
you don't chill an $8 bottle of wine. You just pop an ice cube in there, and you're good.
Yeah.
Apothic
Yeah.
Red.
I like
Are you a
that.
white
I
wine
actually,
guy?
I think
No,
I
no,
see
it's
that.
red.
Okay,
I
you're
know,
just doing
Apothic
Apothic
Red.
Red. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Apothic Red.
I've
You're
actually had
throwing ice in your red wine?
Just an ice cube.
Wow.
Give it a nice
Of
chill.
course.
Thank you,
So
Natalia. Thank you. This
all
guy
my
doesn't
red
know.
wine's in the fridge,
This
man.
guy doesn't know.
Hold on. By the way, I object to everything Drew just said. Under $10 wine with ice is pretty much the worst recommendation.
One
I've ever
ice
heard in my
cube.
entire
One
life.
ice cube, because you got to get it dropped down to temperature just a little bit to open up
Yes,
the botanicals and the flavors.
You know, the red wine's supposed to be held in cellar.
Tell 'em,
at
Natalia, tell 'em.
60
Yeah.
something degrees.
The right
a nice
temperature.
little cool temp.
Exactly. So when you don't have a cellar in your house, you basically get a bottle of red
My
wine.
house is
one ice cube.
full wine cellar temperature 24/7. I'm on the same tip, by the way. Melissa and I are just drinking wine every single night. Not, just because we deserve it, really, is where we're at. So wine, by the way, new brand of wine we just tried. It's called Tether. Amazing. Go check it out.
Price point?
Very good. It's like 50.
50?
50.
Yeah,
This
you're good.
guy,
Y'all
this
too rich for
50
me.
guy.
Y'all too
Right.
rich.
Very, very delicious.
Last time you recommended a $25 salad. Now it's
Tether.
$50 wines.
Yeah, you got to do. I'm also drinking gin, though. Monkey 47 gin, big fan.
Oh, Monkey Force sounds good.
Higher proof, so strong, less cocktails, get to where you need to go. It's like 95 proof. Super good. Monkey
Yeah,
47
you're
gin.
not taking the scenic route.
No.
I'm quarter mile at a time. Give me there.
This is it.
Give me there, Vin
This
Diesel.
is the Vin Diesel of
Yeah.
gins. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. What are you drinking, Natalia?
Yeah, I do wine too. Just kind of like relaxes you before going to bed. Take my dog for a run for a workout. He's hating me by now. He's like, fuck it.
I've never
Go
worked
back
out
to
so
work.
much in my life.
Are you drinking the wine with you like a to-go cup? On the
No,
walks?
after, no,
okay.
no, after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice
But,
plastic
yeah.
cup, walk around the block. Okay.
So why not? Why
Okay.
not? Everything goes right now.
You drink it red or white?
I do cab mostly.
Yeah,
Like,
there it is.
Brian doesn't like cab, thinks it's too heavy. I think Merlot is like watered down cab. So it's like cab
like
is
it.
just full body, like really like when you like take a little sip,
Yeah.
you just like you feel it like that's good wine. I like Justin Cab, Educated Guess.
yeah.
Love Justin.
That's good.
A couple of good wines. They're like not a $50 bottle, but like
Justin,
nice wines over
Justin
there. cheap
Cab's like
wines on this side
100.
of the table.
Isosceles, delicious.
yeah.
Okay.
Black box. Black
Yeah.
box was good.
Black box. Jesus.
Try it.
All right.
Box wine.
So, yeah, literally.
But it's actually good.
Literally. All right, cool. Our
September.
last one, too, is binging it. And so we just talk about anything you're reading, watching, a recommendation for everybody, too. Listening to. It can be anything. Lo, what are you binging right
The
now?
world is binging Tiger King.
Tiger King. I haven't
Come
watched it
on.
yet. I haven't watched
Just
it yet.
started. I'm like, this is so stupid.
I just
And
started it
then,
too.
Like, I didn't want to get
It's
through it. Just like
it's the most
sounds stupid.
wild, dumb shit ever. It's literally insane.
Yeah, I've
And you
heard.
can't believe it's real, but I guess it is real. So like,
Yeah.
is this made up? Because this can't.
It literally doesn't seem like it'd be real. I think that's the part of it. Like I thought it was really stupid too, but if
I
you
feel like
look
this
at
is
it
only
as a
popular
life-
because people have all the time in the world. Like,
Yeah,
if
and
it's-
posting about it. It came out at like the best time.
Yeah.
perfect timing. Because literally, I passed on it for the first like couple days, and then the first episode, I was like, "Is this really gonna happen?" And then I was like, "Oh my god, this is the wildest. This is somebody's life. It's crazy. You got to watch it if you haven't watched it.
I've
on
seen
Netflix.
everyone talk about it. They're doing a great job at the shock factor because everyone.
Whoever's their PR is.
It's
Yeah.
just some really wild shit.
Yeah, it's just
dude.
wild shit. I think there's no PR. I think everyone just has zero time and something new came out on Netflix and everyone's
Yeah.
watched everything else on there. They just clicked it.
Yeah.
What do you got? What do you got, Drew? What do
I
you
mean,
binging?
I'm always and forever binging Pornhub, going through categories.
Season 2?
Yeah,
Okay.
all of that.
Yeah.
I want like the most minuscule
Yeah.
details, the filter. I want the brown hair,
You
the
haven't-
brown
you haven't-
eyes.
You haven't
all that.
finished yet? You haven't finished the whole.
No, I'm still on
The internet's not
midway
done yet?
through. But in all seriousness, I've been binging the Avengers movies.
Hey.
We've been watching one a night, every night for the past
So you start from square
4
one.
nights. No, so Lo had mentioned that as well. I
You didn't
should've-
go in order?
No, I
You're
fucked up.
throwing them randomly.
I know.
You got to start over.
I've been fucking up.
You got to start over.
I know. I think
You've got time.
I started at like one of the second to the last ones. I think it was Affinity War, which was the Anyway, Avengers movies.
Everybody's dead already.
First the wine, now this. Come on, start. You just start over.
Huge Iron Man fan. Throw
Okay.
it out there.
yeah.
All right, Marvel movies.
Well, not to break it to you.
in
but,
order. In order.
Dies.
All right, what do you binging, or what should everyone binge right now? What are you a big fan of right now?
I don't know. I feel like to like uplift this whole gloomy situation, anything
Yes.
funny is what I like to watch before going to bed. You know, anything from like a funny movie to like something on Instagram like funny fails or failed videos, which just makes you makes you laugh. But
You're like Big Daddy. You just need to watch to get someone hit by a car. Makes you laugh.
totally. There was one that I was watching yesterday. I think it was idiot at work, idiot_at work, and it's just like people like doing completely horrible things. A whole freaking building collapses because somebody pushed the wrong button. And,
It's an account, Idiots at Work.
Yeah, it's an Instagram.
I like that.
Gotta check it out.
Funny.
Gotta check it
I'm
out.
gonna peep it.
I
Idiot
literally
work,
I was stuck watching this whole one Instagram account for over an hour just because it was
Just
so
sucked you in.
Yeah,
ridiculously
dived
funny.
all the
Yeah.
way
It
in.
was funny.
The rabbit hole. Of
You
social
were in
media.
that hole.
100%.
You had to keep clicking
Click,
back.
click.
Like, where the fuck
Trying to
am I
get
at
out of
right
it's the
now?
worst, right? Even 8 times. Like, God, I'm still
The
in
other
here.
new one too, I think it's by Fuck Jerry's, Influencers in the Wild.
Yeah, I've
where
seen
they're
that.
where
I've seen that's
they're,
good.
they're taking videos.
There
of
was one in
people doing-
Vegas,
Yeah,
right by Panorama.
So funny.
That was the newest one on there.
Absolutely so funny. It's like just mocking people who are doing the influencer photos, but they're doing them ridiculous outfits in ridiculous places. It's influencers in the wild.
Okay.
It's unbelievable.
The best like prank I'm seeing right now too is you seen the one where like the guy's like using the bathroom and like he calls his kid in to give him toilet paper and he fakes put like poop on him. The kids go crazy. Like every single child cries, goes wild. It's the funniest shit.
People got way too much time at home right now too. By the
Poop
way,
challenge,
I've been
poop
binging
challenge.
TikTok a lot too. I've been going into the depths of TikTok. It's
TikToks are hot right now.
it's a wild place.
Jeff's gonna post one of those videos of him doing the dances pretty
I
soon.
might learn to dance soon.
Maybe Melissa
I might be
definitely
there.
should dance.
Once April hits around too, I'm gonna the two list is gonna be really empty. But my binge it. Our guest from a few episodes ago, TJ Lavin,
Yeah.
host of MTV's Challenge. We were already a big fan of the show, but now even bigger because we got to talk to him, really hear the history of it too. New season starts April 1st. That's this coming Wednesday. Binge it. I'm gonna binge the hell out of it.
Absolutely.
I can't.
You're
wait
a
that
big
one.
fan of that too.
I'm a big fan of that show. Love that show,
Yeah.
actually. There's a few reality shows that I can actually watch. Like there's some I'll tolerate and watch that I'm actually a fan of. The Challenge is one I've watched forever. Like Melissa can do the dating shows and stuff too. We tried to watch Love is Blind the other night. It's so
I know my girl's on that. Bro.
it's
I
so
hate it.
cringy for me to watch.
one?
It's called Love is Blind. It's
Don't
another
start it,
Netflix
Talia.
show.
You'll
Don't
literally
start it.
watch every
I'm-
episode.
I watched every episode.
Yeah.
That was
It's
like,
so
oh my
cringy to me
God.
to watch. But so yeah, MTV Challenge starts April 1st. Go watch that. That's Eat It, Drink It, Binge It, guys. That's an episode, guys.
Hand sanitizers at the door.
Hand sanitizer.
Do a
at
couple
the door.
squirts.
Guys, follow us on all the platforms at the Residency Pod on YouTube, Instagram, everywhere you need to be. Apple, Spotify, download, stream it. Share it with some friends too. Look, you got a lot of time to listen to podcasts right now. Share it with some friends. Let us be your binge it. Natalia, thank you for coming.
Thank you guys.
We
for
really
having me.
appreciate it. And guys, see you soon next week.
Go to Big Bs BBQ.
Go to Big B's.
Yeah.
Boom.
For sure.